"What are you gonna do, old man? Cry about it?" The teenager spat, his face twisted in arrogance, his tongue sticking out like a playground bully who never grew up. The veteran didn't flinch. He just stood there, still, steady, staring forward with an unshaken calm, like he'd faced storms far worse than a boy with no respect. Crowds had gathered at the memorial site that morning, flags waved, horns played, families held hands. It was supposed to be a tribute, honoring the sacrifices of generations past. But somewhere along the way, this kid, shirt untucked, smirk cocky, phone camera lightly rolling, decided to make it about himself. He walked right up to the oldest veteran there. A man in a faded olive-brown uniform, medals still gleaming beneath the morning light, and a name tag that had seen more war zones than this kid had seen years. The veteran had just finished saluting the flag when the boy stepped into his space, leaned in and mocked him. No reason, no shame, just cruelty for attention. Gasps erupted from the crowd. A woman covered her mouth. Another stepped forward, unsure whether to intervene. But the old man, he didn't move, not a twitch, not a blink. Because Staff Sergeant Arthur Hayes had survived Normandy. He had watched brothers fall beside him, carried wounded men through blood-soaked fields, held his breath in foxholes while bullets screamed overhead. He had heard real screams, the kind that echo forever. So when a 16-year-old boy with Wi-Fi and no history decided to test him, all Arthur saw was a child. The boy leaned in closer, mocking again. "You just wear those medals to feel important, huh? Bet you didn't even do anything." Behind Arthur, two veterans in formal dress uniforms straightened up, fists clenched. One stepped forward, but Arthur held up a single hand, commanding silence without a word. Then finally, he spoke. "My best friend died in my arms at 19. The kid froze. Arthur continued, voice low but clear. "He was your age. His name was Daniel. He never got to graduate, never kissed a girl, never came home. He died screaming for his mother while I tried to stop the bleeding." The crowd was silent. "I wear these not to feel important," he said. "I wear them because he can't." The teenager's expression changed. Confusion, maybe. Shame. Hard to tell. He looked around as if realizing for the first time that every eye was on him. But Arthur wasn't done. "I fought so kids like you could live free. Free to speak, free to mock, even free to be ignorant." His eyes locked on the boy. "But freedom doesn't mean you're right. And it sure as hell doesn't mean you're brave." The boy opened his mouth, then shut it again. Arthur stepped forward. Just once, and suddenly the boy took a step back. "Respect," Arthur said, "isn't something I demand. It's something you decide to give. And right now, you've told the whole world exactly what kind of man you are." The boy's face turned red, his cocky grin gone. He mumbled something no one could hear, then turned and disappeared into the crowd, quieter than he came. What happened next stunned everyone. One by one, people started clapping, not out of pity, but out of reverence, out of something that felt like awakening. The veterans saluted again, this time not to a flag, but to the man standing firm in front of them. A few children hugged their parents tighter. A mother whispered to her son, "That man is a real hero." Arthur didn't smile. He didn't bask in the attention. He simply turned back to the flag and stood at attention, as if none of it had happened. Because for him, it wasn't about revenge. It was about reminding people what sacrifice actually looks like. Later, a reporter caught up to him, asking how he stayed so calm. Arthur just shrugged. "I've been shot at, spit on, forgotten. But I never fought for applause. I fought so this country could be better than that boy thinks it is." And that was the truth, because real strength isn't loud. It doesn't shove. It doesn't shout for validation. It simply stands tall, even when mocked, even when disrespected. Especially then. The boy never returned to the ceremony, but his face went viral. Not because of what he did, because of how a real man responded. Arthur's story spread online like wildfire, with captions like, "This is dignity," and "Salute this man." People across the world shared the clip. Not because they loved confrontation, but because they missed seeing true grace under fire. By nightfall, thousands had written in to thank him. Some were kids, some were former soldiers, some were just people who'd forgotten what quiet courage looked like. But no one forgot Staff Sergeant Arthur Hayes. And that teenage boy, he learned something that day no textbook ever taught him. Respect isn't owed, but when it's withheld from those who earned it, the whole world sees the fool, not the fighter. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. You never know, the next one might just change your life.